Deadrop is not a Web3 game. Yet. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is HELMETFIRE. Today we're going to be talking about Deadrop and is it a Web3 game or is it not a Web3 game? And you're probably asking yourself, but HELMETFIRE, we already talked about this before. Yeah, well, it keeps coming up and I wanted to cover it because there's a lot I think the last video missed, and I just want to clarify things and really try to illustrate the situation here, because Midnight Society has promised a lot of Web3 integration, and a lot of gamers out there are seeing other games like Shrapnel come in, and they're got their NFTs and their platform is all getting integrated. It's gonna be coming online soon, and a lot of people are asking questions. Well, Deadrop's been talking about doing it. Why aren't they doing it? They did the NFTs with the variants on OpenSea, but they're not doing anything else with the game and all these snapshot builds. What's up with this 1 foot in, 1 foot out approach? Well, we're going to talk about all that, but before we do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so you don't miss out on future Deadrop videos. Now, let's talk about the Web3 slice of this whole thing here. So, why did you say that it's not a Web3 game? You got the variant NFTs and it's an NFT game. Let's just pump the brakes. Just hear me out. Hear me out. So this is where we're at. All right, let me grab my notes here, my fake notes. So, yes, we have NFTs and our Visor Cortexes for the variants are in the game, but not really. Let me explain. Midnight Society is a AAA game studio, right? They are a business, and their business is to create video games. If you didn't know, Midnight Society will be creating more games besides just Deadrop. So, if you're running a business, you have to keep your business interests in mind at all times. The last thing you want is for your business to fail, to go under, to just really have problems financially, and then you have to shut down. That's like the worst nightmare of any business. So when we talk about Web3, I know a lot of people out there, they don't care about crypto, they don't care about NFTs, they think it's a scam and all this, and that's fine. I'm not here to debate or tell people what to think at all. That's not me. I simply want to provide some information that hopefully better explains things for the common gamer and what's really going on here. So, Midnight Society partnered with Polygon, the Polygon chain, and OpenSea, which is the marketplace that sells the variant NFTs, to provide those to those who got selected and were able to mint them or purchase them. The minting price at the time of the mint was $50. That's what I paid, and I was selected. There was a email, there was a whole campaign that went out when Deadrop was first launching that they said sign up for a chance to be selected to mint one of the NFTs, the founders passes, and with that would come some utility, which is in-game perks, voting rights down the road, which have yet to come to fruition. We're going to talk about that, and so on and so forth. So Midnight Society, the company, decided to partner with another couple of companies, right? Polygon and OpenSea, to launch their NFTs, the founders passes. What's the significance of that? You're probably asking. Well, rather than Deadrop opening a marketplace and doing all their NFTs and items and on-chain items and or currencies, if they ever decide to do one, in Deadrop, instead of doing it in Deadrop, they decided to offload some of that risk to more established companies in the space who are more set up and ready to go for such services, whereas Midnight Society and Deadrop are brand new and don't have those functionalities yet. So that's twofold, right? They said we can get this project out now by using this other service, these other services that are already established, while simultaneously offloading a lot of the risk. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, what risk are you talking about? This is where this is going to clear up a lot of confusion for a lot of the Deadrop community, for those that don't know. Here in the United States, we do not have what they refer to as regulatory clarity. Now, what does that mean? So the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, here in the United States, is our branch of government that deals with securities and, all those kinds of things. So because there are no real solid laws written about crypto and what the goalposts are and what the rules are, the SEC historically over the last few years has ruled by enforcement. So they've historically gone and taken to court many exchanges, companies, individuals, and their stance was that they were selling or offering unregistered securities, right? Now, whether the companies and entities in question were guilty of that or not is irrelevant. Whether there's rules and legislation or not is kind of irrelevant because, well, the fact that there's no rules is relevant. But what I mean is, it doesn't stop the SEC from coming after someone for operating in crypto, right? So crypto can be coins or NFTs. So Midnight Society as a company they have a decision to make, right? Their goal is to offer some sort of these services in their game, right? And most likely, from what we can tell, it looks like it will be NFTs in the form of in-game items, skins, weapons, loot boxes, whatever, right? Cosmetics mostly. And there has to be a marketplace in the game for that to be facilitated. And so that's Midnight Society's goal, right? But they haven't done that yet, and it's been a year and a half, and a lot of people keep asking questions. Well, part of the reason is because, again, the SEC has not provided regulatory legal clarity in which for companies to operate in. They haven't provided the boundaries or the goalposts for companies to operate within. So companies that want to just do what they're going to do are taking a big risk of being sued. It doesn't mean that they will be sued. There's no guarantee of that happening. Maybe it'll never happen. But if it does happen, they have to think about it because you're talking about millions and millions of dollars in litigation that they could potentially be facing. And it could even be for not even doing anything wrong because, again, there's no like real goalposts. There's no regulatory clarity. So, it's a slippery slope and they would be taking a huge risk. So then we go to, okay, what about, but that's just the United States. Like video gamers are worldwide. Of course, this is true. And this is another point of like conversation where Midnight Society as a company has to think about this, right? Like, can they operate in basically every other global market without having a problem? Yes, they can. Right now, though, the majority of Midnight Society and Deadrop's player base and interest base is located in the United States. And that's just because we're super early and it's not a mainstream title yet, and so on and so forth. So if their core audience today is mostly based in the United States, and they're still trying to navigate how they can implement these marketplaces and NFTs and things like that without, they have to figure out how do we navigate this without potentially being sued or tied up in some kind of litigation, because that could bankrupt their company or tank their project or who knows what else, right? There's a lot of unknowns is what I'm saying. So then let's go back to the variant NFTs, right? So again, what I talked about earlier is it wasn't near as risky for Midnight Society to offer the NFTs on OpenSea through Polygon. No, but my point is Midnight Society, they're working with those companies versus we're doing everything in-house at Midnight Society and taking all the risk, right? So having the variant NFTs, the founders passes on OpenSea, it gave Midnight Society a little bit of breathing room to do what they wanted to do when they set out in the beginning to offer these founders passes. And it's really interesting because the founders passes have more utility than most NFTs on the market. That utility being, again, in-game cosmetics that are exclusive to the player, early access to the game builds, and other perks for live events that we've gone to. We've gotten free, the founders have gotten free entry to the live events, whereas everyone else had to pay to get in. So little things like that. And there was even founder specific merch that we had access to. So that NFT actually has a ton of real world utility, and it will most likely have a lot more in the future once they figure out what they're going to do. So for the people out there that are probably asking themselves, well, HELMETFIRE, how could you possibly know any of this? Where are you getting your information? How do you know what Midnight Society is thinking? And I'm glad you asked. So at the live event for Snapshot 7 in Las Vegas, I got the privilege to sit down and talk to one of the developers, Jason Arnst, and he is the game economist for Deadrop. And he and I spoke at length about this very topic. We talked about loot boxes, we talked about microtransactions in general, cosmetics, community feedback, how they were received, and we did briefly talk about the regulatory clarity issue here in the United States. And without getting into specifics, and of course, full disclosure, I wasn't given very much specifics. They still have to, pay attention to what they say and who they talk to. So I do want to make that very clear. I wasn't given any kind of top secret info or nothing under NDA. But he did allude to the idea that, yes, it is a landscape right now that is very difficult to navigate, and they can't just implement XYZ without thinking really hard about that and, watching how to navigate the landscape. So, and regulatory clarity is one of the largest pain points that anyone in Web3 or crypto in the United States is dealing with right now. And you can do a ton of research and you'll find this to be true with all kind of businesses and entities out there, not just gaming. So then let's talk about the NFTs one more time in Deadrop, the variants. So a lot of people say, well, how is it not a Web3 game when you have the NFTs and your Visor Cortexes are literally displayed in game? Let me explain. So the NFTs exist on OpenSea. They do not exist in the game of Deadrop. Deadrop is also not built on a blockchain. It's just a AAA game built in Unreal Engine, and the builds so far have been standalone that you can download off the website, but they don't exist on chain or anything like that. The NFTs, again, exist on OpenSea, and as far as the Visor Cortex is being displayed in the game, the way they accomplish this is you have your MidnightSociety.com profile. There is a wallet that is attached to your account that you can store your variant or NFT in if you want. You can also store it externally, but basically what happens is the developers verify that you indeed are holding said NFT. Once you are a verified holder of that NFT, they manually activate your account with the appropriate Visor Cortex. So again, the NFT, the Visor Cortex being displayed in the game is not a result of the NFT being in the game. It's a result of the developers manually flipping that switch for you, giving you access to that on your account. Very much like back in the Halo 3 days, where if you were lucky enough to win the Recon armor, Bungie themselves, the developers, had to unlock that for you. It's kind of the same thing. So my argument about Deadrop being a Web3 game comes in the form of, once they get an online marketplace that's in the game and the NFTs are in the game, tradable items that are also, tradable via the blockchain, with that integration, and or they add a in-game currency that is also a crypto, very much like Shrapnel's Shrap coin, or Shrap token, I should say. Once Deadrop does one of those two things or both, that to me is when it will be officially a Web3 game. Now, you're probably asking, like, why does any of this matter? Like, who cares whether it is or isn't? If you want to believe it is because of the variants, that's fine. If you don't, I get it. And I think the biggest question everybody has is like, when's this game going to be finished? When's it coming out? But I did want to provide that clarity for the community who may not be on the up and up with the, the lingo, the news that's going on with blockchain and the United States and regulation and stuff. And, I definitely don't want to get political. We're not here for that. But I hope this video was informative. I hope you learned something. And I hope you will continue to ask questions, because Deadrop is a developing title. We're still in pre-alpha, and the studio is pivoting now to a more robust development cycle of more heads down, polish. Like, they really want to get this game to a finished state as soon as possible. So, but I do hope that this video was informative for you. If you did enjoy it, do me a favor, hit the like button. Talk to me in the comments. I want to hear from all of you. I want to have this discussion. I want to, go check the comments and reply to all of you. I think Deadrop is a fantastic game. I think it's got an even more fantastic community, unlike anything else I've ever experienced in gaming. I urge everybody to hop into the Midnight Society Discord and join the conversation. And yeah, just let me know what you think overall. And lastly, hit the bell notifications so you don't miss more videos like this in the future, because we are absolutely going to be covering all things Deadrop all the time, keeping you up to date with all the latest and greatest and what's going on. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you very much, and we'll see you in the tower. Have a good one.